back to business. Okay, now we talk about direct, indirect cost, unit cost, manufacturing cost. Now this one is about fixed and variable. Okay, fixed and variable here is what are the fixed costs and variable costs. Then you have somebody called semi-variable costs. It's not like, for example, electricity bills. Okay, electricity bills is fixed to the certain level. Then after that is go according to your usage. Okay, but in the variable cost, the cost that's very directly with the level of your production. Okay, if the production increase, they also increase. If the production decrease, they will decrease. If the production is not there, they are not there. Okay, unlike fixed cost is all the time there, so remain constant regardless you have any production or not. If you look at this one here, the chart we have here, the green one here, sorry, the blue one is a fixed cost. You see, it's remain same. Okay, but if the variable cost, if the production is zero, means they are zero. If the production is high, is remain high. Okay, so the total is the sum of these variable and the fixed cost. So why we need to know these costs when it's come to our budgeting? Okay, we need to know. If you don't know, if you are not aware about your variable costs, how are you going to estimate the cost? Okay, cost we classify to fixed and variable because which cost we want to know, we can increase, which one fixed we cannot do anything about it in our budgeting. Okay, so here useful for the cost volume profit analysis. Okay, because in our budgeting we need to know. Okay, we need to know what is the break-even point. Means the minimum units we need to produce to cover all our costs. This is what they call it, break-even point. Okay, so to find out also the break-even point, you need to know what they call it, contribution margin for every unit. Okay, that's one will also help you to find the break-even point. Okay, fixed cost is important for budgeting and long-term planning. Okay, so to find out your long-term planning, to plan, I need to know how much is fixed cost, I have throughout this period of the projects or the period of the budget. Okay, without knowing these fixed costs, it's very difficult for you to estimate your, cost for the long period for your planning, because these costs, as we said, is remain there. Okay, you cannot avoid fixed costs. Fixed costs like a rental. Rental you have to pay. If your companies have projects, if company have products or not, you still have to pay. Okay, you cannot avoid. You cannot actually do anything about it. Okay, it just is there, and it has to be there as long as you have business. But if you close your company, for example, another cost is we call inventory cost, like inventory for your warehouse. Okay, rental. So you rent the warehouse. So the one warehouse, if you use it or not, you still pay that rental. Okay. So this cost we need to know because in our budget purposes, because we need to reserve or allocate the resource of fund for these costs. Okay. But other costs here, like for example, variable cost. This variable cost is there when only produce. We have not production, they will not be there. Okay. So this is based on your production. So very easy to trade or to allocate, especially variable costs. How much unit you want to produce? Okay, straight away you can find out. So cost for the cost per units, that will be your variable cost. Okay, so these are the costs that we need to know. What about semi? This one useful for the analysis, the budgeting and forecasting. Okay, so this the cost is really very important for us to know. Without these costs, we are not going to have estimate our budget, and allocate our resource accordingly. Okay, look at the same example we have just now. Okay, but now we have it with units. We find out that the two products here. Sorry, for one product, it's required 10 material, cost $10 per 1 unit. Cost labor cost is $10 per 5 piece or 5 units, and the depreciation will be 2,000 per month, and rent cost will be 1,000 per month. Production level we have here 100 units to 100 units. Okay, we are required to find out what is the variable cost, okay, per unit, what is the fixed cost, okay, per units, and what is the product cost per units. Okay, let's try this one. Let's try to have calculate the cost. What is the variable cost per unit we have here? Okay, we have in our
Variable cost.
okay, we have material.
Yeah.
Material cost per unit. They said how much?
$10.
$10. Okay, then we have labor cost. Labor cost is $10 for 5. So for two,
$2.
for one we become $2. Okay, then we have another depreciation.
cost.
This one they said you have 400 units, and we have how many units? 200.
100 and 200.
Okay, for 100, this one will be 1,000, right?
Yep.
This one will be
200.
2,000. 200.
200. 200.
2,000. Then
$2, right? Times 100 is 200.
yes,
Yeah. 200.
200 and 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the two. This one they call them
Variable.
variable costs because the production increase. And for this one will be 2,000. Is it?
Yep.
This one will be 400. Is it?
200 there is.
Okay. Then we have
Depreciation.
depreciation costs per month. Okay. Then we have what we call it, only depreciation and rental, right?
Yes.
Depreciation. Okay. What is the depreciation per unit? Means for 200 will be
Uh,
2,000 as it is,
Yeah.
right? And this one will be
1,000.
1,000. Okay, this one same. This unit this cost will be the same for both because it's a
Fixed
fixed.
cost.
Okay, you produce more or less will be same. Okay, so this one you have 3,000, 4,200. This one is 400. So this one divide by 100 units. What's the cost per unit? This one divide by 200. What's the cost per unit?
42.
42. This one will be 20. 27. 27 per unit. So you see the cost here 42 for 100 and for 27 for. The more you produce, you see, the more you produce, the less cost per unit. This is why, that's why we call it, now we have for 200 units, okay, and 100 units, see the cost is very high for less. Even this cost is the same. Okay, the one who make difference here is what they call it. Sorry, this one will be now. There is a trick here. Okay, it's a very tricky. You see, now the cost per unit. Okay, this one here.
Yeah.
This fixed cost is remain same.
Yeah.
Okay, it's remain same no matter what you produce. Okay, but look at, we have here two variable costs per unit. Okay, variable cost per unit and fixed cost per unit. Variable cost per unit and fixed cost per unit. If you see here the variable cost here per unit, how much?
Total.
This one divided by, so it will be 12, right?
Total.
12, is it? And this one, is it same or not?
12. Yeah.
Also 12.
Yep.
Okay. Now, what is the variable cost per unit? Fixed cost per unit. This one, 3,000 divided by 100 will be 30, is it?
Yeah.
And this one also same will be 15. You see, you compare these, huh? These four. You know, the variable cost is different based on the number of units. But the variable cost per unit is remain same. Okay? Fixed cost as a whole is same, right? No matter how much you produce. But the fixed cost per unit is different.
Yeah.
Okay? The one who make difference here is the fixed cost. Okay. So the more you produce, the less cost. Not because if you have less variable cost. Your variable cost is the same. Okay. But now the one who make difference in this case is our variable cost. Okay. If you want to control your costs, okay, this variable costs have nothing to do with it. So you can't play with the fixed cost. Means you can't play with volume. Okay. The volume is the one who now we are looking for what is the good quantity. Okay, what is the minimum quantity we need to produce to have to cover these costs. Okay, means volume, what they call it, a price volume analysis. Okay, cost price volume analysis. So this one will determine our what is the break-even point. Means the minimum units we have to produce to cover. This is the method now. This method. This cost is not too problematic for us. This cost we want to know how many units we need to produce to cover this one. Okay, once we cover that one, it's very easy, you know, whatever cost extra will be only by this amount. This one is already covered, fully covered. Okay, so to know that, you know, we have first we need to know what is our contribution margin. Okay, so contribution margin analysis is the analysis that is a financial tool used in budgeting to assess the profitability and the cost structure for products and service. So if you want to know your profitability, okay, you need to find out what is the contribution margin. Okay, it helps in making informed decision related to the pricing, product mix, and the resource allocation. If you want to allocate your resources, you have to find out what is the contribution margin first. Okay, so what is this contribution margin? Okay, and let's say I have this case here. Okay, let's consider the company that manufactures and sell the two products, product A and B. So these are information for A. Selling price is 100. Okay, cost per unit is 60, which is variable. Production capacity, they can produce 100 units, okay, per month. Product B, the cost or the price is 150, and the cost, variable cost per unit is 90. Okay, now production capacity same, all both have same capacity, A and B. Okay, the current production and the sales mix is now we are making 75 units of A and making also 75 units of B, but we still have here capacity for each because you have 100. Okay, so the total factory capacity is all 150. Now we are using 175 per month, so we still have 50. Okay, so fixed cost here is total is 50,000. Okay, what is the best mix? Now the mixing we have 50, 75 and 75. Is this one's a good mix between these two products or no? To answer yes or no, we need to find what is the contribution margin. Okay, so the contribution margin here is help us to identify which one we have to produce more. Is it A or B? Okay, so here we have contribution margin for A, okay, which is the selling price per unit minus variable cost, which is 100 for A minus 60, so 40. For B, the price is 150 minus variable cost 90, so the one is the contribution at 60. Now, so the decision is looks like product B have high contribution margin. Okay, so as long as B is providing higher contribution margin, it's better to raise product B, okay, up to 100 units. So you have to fully utilize, okay, and decrease the production A from 75 to 50. So it means in this case now I have very clear that to produce more from B is more profitable because I make profit or contribute margin of profit 60, which is 1.5 times more. Okay, so means for every unit now you're going to increase how many units?
For B,
For yes, for B.
will be 100.
100.
Increase to
You increase 25.
25. Yeah,
Okay.
from 70.
25 times 60. Is it? Every 1 unit will make profit 60.
Yeah.
So you're going to make profit higher than the current one by about $20. Means $20 extra for how many? For 25, which is about making about almost 500
Yeah.
higher than what you have now.
Yeah.
500 exactly. So your profit, total profit will increase by 500. You do nothing, okay? The only you change, the right mix. And who will tell you this is the right mix? Is a contribution margin. So without contribution margin, you won't able to know how much you produce from each one. And based on that, you will allocate your resources to buy more, okay, units from B and less units from A. So this one in your budget. You put in your budget. Okay, now we are going to produce 100, so we buy more from A, B, and less from A. Because if you buy, you see, the problem here is not about only profit, okay? It's about cost allocation. Now, when you do in your budgeting, I will say, okay, I will tell them from A, I want to buy how many units? 75, right? What is the cost per unit? Variable cost? 60. You will put 75, 60. And also 75 times 90. Okay. Now you have problem here in the cost allocation. If you do this way, because you're going to buy more from A and less from B. B you have to buy 100. You bought only 75. 75 times, you underestimate the cost. Means you have less allocation for B and more allocation for A. But for A and B, they don't have different price. You still have problem. In your costing, you still have problem. Even if you pay later less from B, this one have $30 per unit gap. Okay, you are running out of budget for product B. So if you don't do that, you will have problem with your cost, allocation. If you follow your plan, okay, we plan 75 each, you have problem with your profit. You make less profit. So now, either one will cost you something. If you go with your budget, you're losing profit, okay? If you go for profit, you have problem with your budget. You're not allocated properly. So you are stuck somewhere. So in this case, you need to do profit margin before, okay? If I do this mix, my profit will be less, But if I increase B, I will make more profit. But to make that profit, I have to allocate this in I put here variable cost for 100 of B. For B, I put 100, not 75. Then you have no problem with your budget. So knowing these costs, it's direct and indirect. It's help you to plan, your resources, and also it helps you to determine your profit. Okay, what profit you're going to make, it based on how you do this plan. Okay, then we have what we call this contribution margin for the budget. Helps to assess sales targeting, okay, to meet profit goals. used to decide which products to cut or to push in the next budget cycle. Okay, and also critical inputs for cost, volume, and profit analysis and operational planning. So knowing this cost margin is also very important. And to do this cost margin, I need to know what is the variable and what's the fixed cost. Okay, so all are related to each other. And to know without knowing which one is variable and which one is fixed, I cannot do contribution margin. Without contribution, I will know what are the profit I'm going to make from my, in projects or products. So all are very important for my budget and my profitability. Okay, so here is the what they call it cost, volume, and profit analysis. Okay, and this cost, volume, and profit analysis are financial management tools. But this is used for internal use in the company. Okay, all these tools we have is only for internal use, for decision making and planning. Okay, so examine the relationship between these three: cost, volume, and the level of activities. What profit we need to make. Okay, the volume, cost, and profit. So they put all in one. Okay, it helps business to understand how changes in the sales volume, cost, and selling price impact their profitability. So if the price is changed, how it's going to impact? And this is what we really need in our budgeting. Okay, in budget you have to deal with, we are planning something we don't know. Okay, if these things happen, how much I'm going to sell? Okay, if the price, drop down or go up, so how much profit I'm going to make. So without these things, you will not be able to allocate your budgeting. So this we call it break-even point. If you look at this one here, break-even point, okay, this one, the unit sold, here's the sales, and how many units you need to. At this point here means you have break-even point. Break-even point means all your costs is going to be covered. Okay, you cover all your fixed costs at this point, and whatever you make after that will be your profit. Any production less, okay, if you produce less than the units here, you are going to make loss. Okay, and also the price. If the price below this level, even they produce the same units, you still make loss. Okay, so any point, if the price is less than this, the break-even point price, and the units is less, you need to sell less, you're going to make loss. Okay, anything is more than that point, it tells you how many units you need to sell to cover all your expense. Okay, so we have here this is a total cost, and this is what will make your revenue line. Okay, it can be loss, can be profit, depends on how much units you sell and at what price. Okay, so the formula for this break-even point, okay, which is the fixed costs divided by contribution margin, the one we find just now. Okay, so which means that the contribution margin is what we said, selling price minus variable cost. Means fixed costs. To calculate your cost, volume, profit analysis, I need to know three things. I need to know my variable costs, my fixed costs, and selling price. Okay, which is here, fixed costs divided by variable costs minus selling price, which is this we call it contribution margin. Okay. Okay, so let's say that here we are. Okay, so in this one case we have here the manufacturing company that produces and sell single products, only one. Following the cost information is available for this company, which is a fixed cost. Okay, it's 100 per month. Salary is 15,000. Depreciation is a 5. Variable cost is 20 per units. Direct labor cost is material. Direct labor cost is 10. Other variable cost is 30 per units. So now you have three three costs, variable costs per unit. Okay. So we have here material. Material cost is how much? 20. Labor cost 10 per unit. Then we have other costs, which is 30. Other costs. Okay, now the total variable cost we have how much? 60 per unit. Okay. Then we have fixed costs. Okay. And the fixed cost we have these two, which is the depreciation is 10,000.
Depreciation is 5. Rental is 10.
Okay, 10.
Salary is 15,000.
15,000.
Depreciation is 5,000.
5,000.
5,000. Yeah.
Okay, 5,000. So the all total cost we have is 30,000. So how many units they produce? They don't give, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They only give the selling price.
Yeah.
So the selling price is how much?
Selling price is $100.
100 per unit, right? Now we are required to calculate the break-even point. But before break-even point, we need to find the contribution margin,
Yes.
which is
The
selling price
minus the variable.
minus variable cost, 60, right?
Yes.
So this one will be
40.
40 per unit. Now we can find out what is the cost volume price analysis, which is equal to fixed costs, which is how much?
30,000
30,000 divided by 40. So you will get, how much is the one? 750 units. So it means to cover all your expenses, we need to produce 750,000 units, and you need to sell it, produce and sell it. So any production below this, okay, will give you loss. Here we have no profit and we have no loss. And let's prove it. Okay, let's prove that. Okay. 750, yeah? Remember? 750. 750 unit. Okay. Let's say that we produce 750 units. Is it true our profit will be 0 or not? So this one times 750 times 750, this one also times 750. So what you will get for each here?
15,000 for the material.
15 here. This one 7,500. This one
22,500.
22,500 plus fixed costs. Remember fixed cost just now?
30,000.
This one have to be 0. Of course, you have to have sales here.
Yeah.
How much? 750, right?
Yeah.
That's how many units?
One,
The price.
100.
So this one will be 75,000, is it?
Yes.
Minus all these costs. Is this one 75?
Plus 75, yes.
So 75 minus 75,
Yeah.
0. So producing this 750, it'll give you 0 cost. It means the minimum units you need to produce to cover all, especially this. You are not going to cover your home fixed. You go in this one. So at least we need to produce 750. Any production or and sales below 750, we are making loss. Means fixed costs will not be covered. Okay, the minimum units. And now, how we are using this one for our budgeting? How is this related to our budgeting? Okay, budgeting here. Okay. For the budget purposes here, we have, you know what they call it, I want to allocate resources, how many units you have to produce. Okay, so to find out the unit you're going to produce, the minimum things we are planning to put in our budget, so we don't want to have any loss. Okay, we don't have to have any loss. You have to produce at least 750 units and sell them. Okay. In worst case scenario, now we are talking about worst case scenario and good case scenario. Minimum allocation for my resources, I have to allocate, okay, for this to cover my costs here. I have to make sure this unit is sold. Okay, this is in our worst case scenario. Okay, if worst come to worst, the company have to produce this and have to sell it. So then I can easily say I will cover my fixed costs. If you are not going to cover that, if you are not able to that, you have to prepare for loss. Okay, means when you do your calculation, do your budgeting. Okay, your profit here, because in our budgeting we have to estimate our profit. Okay, so you don't have to bargain a lot about your profit if you are not able to cover your costs. Okay, so it means there's no much profit you're going to make if the cost is not covered. So now I have make sure to allocate, but if you want more profit, okay, I have to sell more units. Sell more units means you have to produce more units. Produce more units means you have to allocate more resources for that production. Okay, so the one now who determine our budget, allocation of our budget is these costs. Okay, because I know everybody have target. Our target to increase the profit. You remember when we talk about in the first day, what is our strategic objective? Strategic objective, this company, they want to increase their market share. You remember? So to increase your market share means I'm going to sell more. Okay? Sell more means you have to produce more. Produce more means you have to allocate, resources for this production. Okay? So not only in this production, I have to allocate also for my internal, stuff. Remember we talk about balance scorecard, internal process, your machine, your automation, your training for your staff, all are related. Okay, all are related. You don't have to prepare everything. You have internal process. Okay, your staff is prepared very well, but at the end, your cost here is your resource is not allocated to finance this process, this material, your production. So it's all together is related. So ignore any of these, costs, or you don't pay attention or got any weight of this kind of costs. At the end, all your balance or your budget will be haywire, upside down. You will have in one items there's a deficit, and others will have surplus. And in this case, you will face, a lot of problems in your budgeting. Okay, so these are the things that you really need to consider, and this is how the cost is important, and especially for the controller, like in your case. So these are the places that you can control and you can, play with. Okay. So as we said, for budgeting, this cost, volume, prices, support what if scenario, as you said, in worst case scenario and in good case scenario. So in bad case scenario, we only have to cover this cost. But if we want to have more profit, or the price of the material go higher, how much profit you make? Because all the material, for example, especially this material here, this is a price based on the today market price. What if the cost material go to 30? So how much profit you make? So it means you have to produce more to sell more to cover this increase in your the material price. What if the material prices remain same, but I don't sell this unit. Okay, I don't sell that unit. So what is and if you remember one of our budgets we had yesterday, flexible one. You remember that one? So if the prices remain same, the number of units is less, sell less unit. Another scenario, if the price is units, we sell the same amount, but the price for the materials go higher. So what if?
Yep.
Okay. So okay, also what if the price of our products in the markets drop down? So it's another problem. Okay, we still sell the same units, material costs remain same, but there's so many competitors in the market. So we have to reduce the price, selling price. So what if this selling price go less than this? It's gone 90, means you have to produce more. Produce more means you have to allocate a lot more resources. So these are the things, but this cost will be remain the same here. Sorry, fixed cost will remain. So it means you have to increase the resources here. You have to this amount of units you produce, you have to be more than that. Because if the product units is more, produce more units, material costs will be higher, labor costs will be higher, other variable costs also will be higher. So it's all, very related to each other. Okay, if you remember this one we mentioned here, I have to go back to it for yesterday. This one. You see, here the sold units only 1,000, but if you look at this one, the selling price is 70. Same here, 70, but the units sold is higher. Okay, in this case, the units sold is the same, but the price is go up. So look at the profit here, loss. Here is get a bit higher. Why? Because we sell more 500. And this one, the profit goes more higher. Why? Because the units is the same, but the price we sell at a higher price. Okay. So in this case, okay, we have problem if these things happen. You know why? Because the price is different. Okay. Assume it's the opposite happen. Okay. And also this scenario has a problem because before you sell only 100, now you have to sell 1.5. Means this variable cost, you see, is increased by half. Increased by half. This is 2/3, this 1/3 increase. Why? Because my production increased by 1/3. So this cost also has to increase. So if you don't allocate for that, you only have in your budget 4,000 for variable costs, but your production is increased. Means you cannot produce more. You cannot produce more, it means you keep loss. Okay, and this is just because you don't allocate enough resources for that variable cost. Okay, and okay, for what if, this contribute cost volume profit analysis. Okay, I will have this video so we can run here. Where's mouse? The one. Yesterday is okay. Because of this. Because it's not showing me. Why doesn't it show?
Is it click? I saw it click already.
No, the videos I open.
Already? Is it connected to the? It is.
frozen ice cream. Not this one. Let's go for this first. Yes. Why?
It goes back.
Suggest.
Okay, let's do this one. Here.
Hello and welcome to Excel Junction. Sensitivity analysis, as the words suggest, helps us ascertain the impact of a change in the outcome with changes in the data inputs. In Excel,
Yes,
this
yeah.
falls under the what-if analysis functions, of which the most used types are data table and goal seek. In this video, we'll see how to do sensitivity analysis with data table in Excel, and we'll go through this with the help of an example. Let's say you have a bicycle store and here's the sales for the previous month. Now, you want to analyze how changes in the price and sales volume affect the profitability of this store, so that you can adjust your sales strategy for an optimum performance. To do sensitivity analysis with data table in Excel, let us first complete the profit and loss account table here. In cell C11, we need to calculate the revenue, so let's multiply the bicycle sales volume with the price per unit.
Unit per price.
Type the formula as equal to cell C3
That's
multiplied by C4.
the price, right?
Then in cell C12, we need to calculate the cost of sales, so multiply volume with the cost per unit. Type the formula as equal to cell C3 multiplied by cell C5. Next in cell C13, we'll calculate the gross profit, which is nothing but the revenue minus the cost of sales. So type the formula as equal to cell C11 minus C12. Next, in cell C14, we need to calculate the selling, general, and administrative expenses, for which we have to add up the store rent, employee cost and other expenses. Type equal to cell C6 plus C7 plus C8.
No profit, right?
In cell C15, we have to calculate the operating profit, which basically is the SG&A expenses reduced from the gross profit. So let's type the formula as equal to cell C13 minus C14. Please note here that the gross profit is completely variable with respect to the number of units sold, implying higher the volume, higher will be the gross profit, and vice versa. Whereas, operating profit is not entirely variable, as it considers few cost elements, which are fixed in nature. Which is why, at a low sales volume, the store may incur losses, since it has fixed costs also to be taken care of. And this is perhaps the reason why sensitivity analysis is immensely useful, since it considers the non-linearity in the output, that is the operational profitability. Now that our profit and loss account table is set, we need to prepare the sensitivity analysis
Now
table.
it is done.
I have already set up the table at my end and I'll take you through on how to set this up. We need to primarily focus on the range G4 through N11. The remaining part is largely formatting to make it appear neat and presentable. The link to download the practice file has been shared in the video description. Coming back on how to set up the table, in range H4 through N4, type the bicycle sales volumes from 250 to 550 units with an interval of 50 units.
Here's the price.
And in range G5 through G11,
increase.
type the prices from $240 to $360 with an interval of $20.
Increase by $20.
Next, in the cell G4, type the formulas equal to C15, linking the cell to the operating profit.
This is the profit.
Select the range G4 through N11 and click Data. What if analysis? Data table. The data table dialog box will pop out, where, in the row input cell box, you have to specify the cell with bicycle sales volume, which is cell C3 in this case. In the sensitivity table, the row input is the bicycle sales volume, whereas the column input is the price per bicycle.
Price and unit and price.
So, in the column input cell box, specify the cell with the bicycle price, which is cell C4 in this case.
Yes, press OK.
And then click the OK button.
All come
With
out.
this, the sensitivity analysis table is created. You can see how the profit changes when both sales volume and price change. For example, if you sell 350 cycles at price of $280 per cycle, the profit is 0,
Means break-even point.
while if you can sell 450 cycles at price of $320, the profit increases to $24,000, which is more than double of the current profit. We can cross-verify the results of the sensitivity analysis. At the original price, that is, $300 per unit, if the quantity sold reduces from 400 to 350 units, the operating profit of the store will dip to $7,000, as per the analysis. So, let's change the sales volume to 350 units here, and see the impact on profit and loss account. Yes, it falls to $7,000.
Same, right?
Taking another example, if the price increases from $300 to $320, even at a lower volume of say 350 units, the operating profit as per the analysis shall be $14,000. So, let's increase the price to $320
And then your profit will be
and check the impact.
exactly same.
Yes, the profit increases to $14,000. Please give a thumbs up if you found this video useful. If you have any queries, do put it in the comments,
This one
and we'll be
is,
happy to address them.
I put it in the
Thank
notes.
you for
It's
watching.
the same link,
Yeah.
but here, I don't know what this cannot
That's
be.
your worst assignment horror story.
So this is what F analysis. So we call it sensitivity analysis. So it's all about, you know, the price and volume. So but at this point 300, price 300, units 350, so you get nothing, cover, you know, all expense. But without that, this is exactly the same table. So you can play with figure, you know, to make sure about your how much profit you want to. Okay, you want to make, for example, profit 65. You have to produce or sell 550, and the price has to be 360 if you are looking for that. So, but this one is, both are difficult to do.
Yeah.
Is based on the market price, so you cannot determine the market price alone. You can actually, if the market price 300, okay, if the market price 300, I can sell at 280. Okay, you can play with that. Okay, I will sell less than the market price. Okay, but I can make maximum sales. I can make 12,000. Okay, or maybe 300 to 280 is too much. So if we sell at 295, $5 less. So you can range for that, increase by $5, for example, and it will give you exactly what's the profit you're going to make. Okay, so this one you can play around with these figures to see. This one actually you cannot control too much. Okay, so you have to follow the market price. But I said, okay, assume the market price is this 300. Let's say that I will sell at the less than that. Okay, to sell the less than this, so you have to make more volume, sell more to cover your costs. Okay. So these are the things that you can, you know, do before you do your, what you call it, the budgeting. Before we come to our budget, we have to do all these things. Okay. Based on this calculation, let's say that, okay, we decided to sell lower than the market price, but we are going to sell more units. Now you have to estimate your costs, the cost in your budget for 550. Okay, especially your variable costs. Fixed costs will remain same. So you have to put in your budget, I'm going to buy 550 units as a raw material or what. So you have to allocate resources in your budget for this unit. Okay, not for 400, for 450, because you are deciding to. So this one will tell you what are the options you have. There's more option, and based on your calculation here, you can allocate your budget. Okay, so let's say that, and this case we have here for purpose of assessment. So this, but as a budget controller, you are reviewing a new products line proposed to determine its cost efficiency and profitability. Your analysis will be guide relationship decision on the production and price strategy. Okay. We have here this information about our products. Selling price is 750. Variable cost is 480. Fixed cost is 135. Okay. Estimated monthly sales volume of 600 units. All these are the monthly costs. Okay. So now we are required to to find out what is the what you call it, the you fill out this for table. Your response about calculate the contribution margin per units, determine the contribution margin ratio, okay, compute the break-even point in the units, how many units you need to produce, calculate the expected profit or loss for 600 units. Then if the company wants to sell or wants 60,000 monthly profit, okay, you want to have profit this 60,000 monthly, how many units you must sell? Okay, briefly explain how this analysis supports cost control decision. Okay, so we can try this one.
We will go back to the.
Okay, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have this other information 750. Price per unit. $750. Variable costs 480. Fixed costs 135,000. And sales volume 600 units.
Margin ratio is
Huh?
contribution margin ratio.
This one divided by the profit. Gross margin, you mean?
Yeah. Contribution margin ratio.
Okay, contribution margin ratio, how much you got here? The gross margin, how much? Yeah, the first one, contribution margin?
Contribution per unit is 270.
270 divided by 750. I want to give you a ratio.
Even volume in units
Which is a fixed cost or what?
fixed cost
Contribution
divided
margin.
by contribution margin, which is 500 divided by 270. And then expected profit on loss at 600 units.
Take your time. Which way? 5.
Yeah. So if it's 60,000, the break-even volume in units, is it 500? The break-even volume.
Okay.
Right? Is it
Okay.
500? How do?
Is it 500?
Yes. Okay. So 195 divided by 270.
Okay, number 4, right? What is your expected profit or loss at the 600 units? So, profit 270, okay, times 600
270 times 600.
minus variable cost. So 27,000, is it?
Yeah.
This is number 4.
Expected profit or loss at 190. 27,000.
Yes. Number 4, right? 27. So means if you have sold 600 units,
You get
because your break-even points, how many is 500, right?
yes.
So anything more than 500 will make you profit, which is 27 here. Okay, now the number 5 is the opposite.
Yeah.
So if you want to make 600 units, 60,000 profit. So how many units you have to produce? So how you did here?
Reverse.
You see variable cost plus profit. Okay, divide by the break-even. Okay, sorry, the profit margin here. Contribution margin. So it give you 722. Why contribution margin? Because this one minus price minus variable cost.
Variable cost.
So it give you 722 means 720.
3 units.
So your profit will increase to
60,000.
60,000. Means you have to
Reverse.
yes reverse. So at let's prove it. Let's prove it. Okay, you have you said how many units here?
723.
Okay, times what is the price?
The price is selling price is
750. So times 750. Okay, minus contribution minus the variable cost, which is 480.
480
times
723.
723.
Okay, 480 times 723.
Minus very fixed cost 135.
2250 minus 347050 6210.
Yeah, because it's 2.
Yeah. 72.2. Yeah.
2 here is about they round it down.
Yeah.
So if you make 722, maybe it'll be less than 60. It sounds a bit because the gap of this.
Yeah.
So around that.
Yeah.
Now the brief explain how this analysis support cost control. Okay. It helps to identify the sales volume needed to cover costs and achieve profit targeted, enabling better budget forecasting and cost control. Okay, now if you have such things in your budget, so it's help you now first things to what you call estimate your cost, how much cost you are looking for, and for that estimate cost you have to forecast what you call it in your budget. So I need how many units. If you are target 600, you need to have 7 to 3 units. So for 7 to 3 units, you have to have the variable costs. You have to estimate your variable costs here for this much of units. Means 480 times this.
Yeah.
So you put it in your, this cost is already there, nothing to do. But here is important because I want to know, estimate my variable costs. And based on this estimation, I will allocate the resources in my budget for this variable cost. And it's also, help you as, like for example, profit, you determine our profit target is 60,000. Now, as a controller, you have to make sure the target is achieved. Okay? So if the unit, for example, let's say, this is monthly, yeah? Let's say that we are now today in the 20 already or 25th of the month. Okay. And you're supposed to sell 723 units, 723.
Yeah.
But you're already now in the 25th of the month, but so far you sell only 400 units. Are you going to achieve this target? 60,000? Of course not. You have only 322 units to sell, and you have only 5 days.
Yeah.
So, in this case, actually, it's help you to control. You can take it by portion. Like for example, okay, now my target is 72 divided by 30 days. So every day I have to pay out to sell 25 units, for example. Okay, you make sure that they sell daily 25 units. It's give you a control here. So if any of these days have zero sales, the other days 25 means it's give you indication there is something wrong somewhere. Control. Okay, go and find out what's the problem. Why you don't sell according to our projection, for example. It's also help you to identify for the costs, because if you don't achieve this target means you will not have this profit. Then you will have overestimate your costing in the budget. At the end, you will have a surplus for that item, variable cost. Okay, means you have extra, money you not utilize, which you can utilize somewhere else. Maybe other items they don't have enough money, but we allocate the money for this production. But at the end, you don't achieve the target. So here's a, control. You have a control over these, things in your budget. So actually, if the company did all this analysis before they come to this budget, actually everything will be in the right place, and it's very easy to control. I know what to control, where to go. Okay, this make sure all these targets has been achieved. Okay, for example, 750. You don't have to put target only 750 for your internal use, for your own use. You make it by daily target, because if it's daily target, you can do something. Okay, because at the end, for example, I will check at the 15, like half of the month, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to check at the last end of the month,
Daily.
because at the end is everything is already in the right
Yeah.
in the place. You cannot do any changes.
Can go back.
Yes, cannot. So in the 15 or the first 10 days, I will review. Okay, is it in the right place or not? If not in the right place, there is a time to do something. Okay, you have to make sure you are below the target. You have to work more harder to get it. Okay, so that's the, and you also even you can highlight this in the report. So there is a evidence that you already identify this issue earlier, but there is no action being taken. It's not your task to force people to do 1, 2, 3, but it's you highlight it. Okay, if they don't do it, it's up to them after that. But at least now you are free of any responsibility. You have done your job. Okay, you report to their boss, for example. Okay, that's this we are. Your departments is below the target in 1, 2, 3. So this one, the consequences of this one, we will not be able to achieve our, the profit, the estimated profit, for example. Okay, and also we have problem with our budgeting. So these are the things that is really can be very helpful to support the top management for their decision.
Like how can I apply in my case apply this to with most of my tasks so it's like to control and make sure they what do you call this, perform, as in they utilize the budget accordingly lah, according to their plan. So how can I apply this to that, like at the moment their target is to utilize that budget for this year, but our challenging factor would be the timeline of approval, like in terms of process, the internal process, the procurement process. So yeah, how can I, because we don't have like the sales, right?
Understand.
So how can I apply that? But I know I understand the concept, but so how do I reflect that in my
Now for this one here, this what we did now.
yeah
This one is what they call it, the pre-budget preparation. It's
yeah
all this one a pre-budget.
yeah
Now we are in the middle way.
in the budget
Your task here has nothing to do with determine all these figures. Okay. Now you have two things only as a controller for budget.
Yeah.
You have performance
Yeah.
and you have the target. Okay. These are the two things your job is to compare. Okay. And you highlight if there is anything is in the right place. Okay. And for you have the budget for every item, right? In your budgeting.
Yeah.
The budget or the planning is all there, and you have the real performance. Do you have?
Yeah.
You can view, right?
Yeah.
You can view it in the dashboard or whatever.
Yeah.
It's there. Now your task is to look. Are they achieving what is, for example, is the time here is very important for your task. The time is very important. Okay, you look at the budget and you look at the performance. Okay, and also you relate it to the time. Okay, now how far we are in the year. Okay, and how far has been achieved. Okay, so you can make it every 3 months, for example. You compare 3 months is 25%, right? So you compare the actual like 25% with the total budget. Is it reached to the 25% or less or more? Some spending is very far. For example, now we're in the first quarter, the spending is already 50% of the budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to have a difference. So later on we talk about variance analysis.
Okay.
So you have to have variance analysis. Very important in your case is variance analysis. Okay. So variance analysis will show you, are they in the budget in the right place, or they are going to overrun? Budget is going to be overrun, or you're going to have surplus. So these are the two things is you need to. This is it as your like what we said. As we said, that your task for the budget as a controller, okay, is not to decide, it's not to evaluate, what you call it, the inventory or what, okay. It's not also for planning. This is what we have. This for planning. This is all planning. Okay, but your controller only the performance with budget. So.
But how can I help in terms of planning as well?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. How can I help? Because right now it's the stage of planning for the next financial year. Yeah. How in terms of that, like this pre-budget, right?
Okay.
Like how do I help them to encourage them to have a proper?
You can in two ways you can help them. First one, your feedback about this year budget. Okay. So what went wrong this year?
Okay.
So you can highlight it for them to avoid next year, right? Because something is, what's the lesson now? What's the lesson you learned from this year? It has to be revealed to them. Okay. Even in the time of planning, you can be a controller. When they plan, you can be a controller. Okay, so this one is actually you follow this budget last year, this is the consequences. So because this is what happened this year. So you can help them to avoid it. Okay, this is number one. Number two, you can introduce also the solution for that. Okay, this is the problem. If you want my inputs to solve it, it has to be 1, 2, 3. You provide them with the solution. Of course, they will ask you, okay, if this one is a wrong way, so what do you think is the solution? Because I know in the sometimes the controller have to give his opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, because as we know, especially when you talk about the top down budgeting, which is I think in your case is a top down. Okay.
Bottom up also. I think it's a mix. I think.
Mix, yeah.
Because the the planning comes from the bottom, then goes up for the approval. But yeah.
These inputs you put in the suggestion or solution.
Yeah.
Sometimes you put
Yeah.
because you have to highlight what is the problems and your personal opinion about it. Okay. Even the auditor actually your task is similar to the auditor. So because the top management they don't know about all these details. Okay, they just can be approved or if any they will look back to your notes actually.
Yeah.
They will look back to the feedback of the controller.
Yeah.
What he said about all these things.
Yeah.
So you can give also your what is you think is right. Okay. Like for example, one of these estimations is wrong. Like okay, we expected to get this revenue, for example, but we don't do it because of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have something to suggest in your depends in the item like for example, now we're talking about this production and how many we should produce, how many profit we should make, But sometimes you are talking about, in your case, you are talking about, certain projects. Okay, like certain projects, like there is some spending in these projects went wrong. Something is overestimated. Sometimes in our budget, actually there's a surplus, not because they didn't utilize. Okay, because it's overestimated. The budget is overestimated. Okay, but it doesn't mean that not like a difference we have. Like a variance when you analyze your variance. The analysis of your variance, positive or negative. It doesn't mean all the time there is something wrong in the performance. Sometimes it's indicated something wrong in the estimation. It can be either one. Okay, not all the time is something wrong with the performance. You can advise both.
Yeah.
Okay. The people who are lower operation, which is if in case of something with the performance, or the top management if there's something with the estimation. Okay, both sides either one can be wrong. Okay, in case of we have variance. Okay, it doesn't mean that all the time the wrong things with the operation level. No, sometimes the operation level doing very well and everything in the right place, but the wrong is something with the before. Yes, the one who estimate this one. Okay, now this one for the what you call it. Sometimes also is important for the controller. So, like for example, what's the timesheet? For these people. It's also about human resource tasks, but because something can be shared with them. So about this timesheet. What is this timesheet? Timesheet is a data table that is digital record where the workers log the time they are spending on the various tasks. Sometimes when you talk about projects, it's about how much time you spend in this. Because in the project there are so many tasks they need to do. So what's the time you spend in every? Why we need to know this timesheet? Because I use for the multiple such as the payroll. Okay, you can get from the payroll for billing and for project management. They also help to identify areas to efficiency. Is it efficient or not? Because we said efficiency is very important, and payment is based on the utilization of how many hours you spend here and there. So the less is always have, the more efficient, the less cost you're going to have. For example, you have here, these are the ID for the employees, it's the time. This a rule for electric engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, project manager. So task description, given design, foundation, so pin, all these are the tasks, time they start, the time they end. Okay, then they have what you call it? Breaks, how many these hours, how many hours you spend in every one here. Okay, the total hours 7. So it tells you, how much, out of their working hours they have, how many hours they work. Sometimes you have to work, for example, 8 hours or 7 hours. Look at this one, he worked only for 3 hours. Means what is the other 5 hours? So it give you about the efficiency. It's very, very important, this is a spreadsheet for budget controller. Okay, man hours. So okay, this is also about the critical for the time and the cost effective what they call completion of the projects. So it's represent the total hours worked by the individuals. Okay, sum it together. So all put it in one process. It's helped to estimate the, because in our cost also we have to have labor costs, right? So to estimate this labor cost, we need that man hours. So how many hours you work? For example, you put in the daily hours 8 hours, but actually these 8 hours they don't do the task, and you pay your payment for 8 hours, right? So if you only work for the 3 hours, so what about the other 5 or other 2 or other 1 hour? Okay, so this is very helpful. And also it's like we have here resource because we want to allocate resource based on how many hours they spend. Okay, they also serves as the key performance indicator for the project controller. Okay, so if you achieve, right, for example, I assume I allocate the resources that you eat for 5 hours. You look to compare the performance with the target. Okay, we run out of budget because we work more hours. Why you work more hours? You estimate hours is wrong. No, our estimate is not wrong. But the workers don't work within these hours. So this one can tell you. Sometimes the tasks need, for example, 8 hours.
Yeah.
He did it in 3 days. Why in 3 days? Because he don't work the 8 hours, all 8 hours. He work first day 3, the other days work another 3, and the last day work 2. So which is supposed to finish in 1 day, he make it. So this one will tell you about the efficiency. So now you pay for 3 days instead of 1 day.
Yeah.
That's why you run out of budget. So most of them, they run out of budget not because of the task is more than what we ask them. So the same task actually, but they take longer period. So that's can tell you by comparing the KPI. For example, here the task here is what visibility study. So this is the phase, then the market analysis for visibility study and technical visibility. So responsible here business analysts and engineers. Estimated man hours 100 and 200. So but actual one, they spend instead of 100 they spend 110. So now we have run out of costs, not because of our estimation, because of these people don't do the job. Okay, so this is complete, then you put it complete, ongoing, and all these things. So all these things are very important for the controller. You don't only look for what is the cost, you look also what is the cost these costs. Especially when you talk about, okay, for material costs, we have invoice, it's very easy to trace everything. But sometimes the labor cost, okay, which is a variable cost. You see, it's variable because it can be more. This one is in this case we run out of budget. In this case we have that's more efficient. Okay, this one is less. Almost everything is this efficient here, more efficient. This one is not. Nobody. Okay, so all these things is we have total here. Man hour total is supposed to be 4,100. Estimated is on 4,000, but we still have tasks not, being performed yet, which is 220, right? So 220, if you add this one, will be 4270. So far from that. So here we have buffer. So these are the things that's why is this one is important for how you relate it to the budget. So the timesheet serves as the data source when they're calculating the man hours. Okay. Estimate and planning. As a project progresses, actual man hours logged in the timesheet are compared against what you call it, the estimation. Budget, the cost of the labor is often significant in the project cost, calculated based on the man hour timesheet, provided the data needed for this man hours. Performance metrics. Project manager can identify bottlenecks, insufficiencies, or scope creep by the company, because you see, imagine you have project, okay, project you have to deliver in 6 months, okay, but these people, you allocate the tasks, based on this time zone. You have 6 months. If the people don't perform according to your plan, you will have what they call it scope creep. Okay, so it means you take more period. So that's another problem. You have penalty. Okay, so this will create a lot of trouble there. Not only that we run out of costs or over budget costing, you will have another issue, which is the penalty for delay of the project. So another issue which is more worse than this, okay, you're going to face. So it's also record keeping, okay, so regulatory compliance and the financial audit, timesheet and non-man hour. Because you see in some countries, the authority come and check. Okay, do the workers, for example, they determine that working hours 8 hours. Okay, they come and check the records, this timesheet and man hours, and see. Sometimes the company asks people to work more than that, and they don't pay them overtime. Okay, if you have such things, you will be under, you will be charged under non-compliance for the regulation. Okay, by the labor, what they call unions, and all these things. And the cost here, another risk you are facing, which is the compliance risk. Okay, compliance risk is the penalty also is not easy. Okay, they can snatch your license, they can stop your operation, they can't charge you anything. According to what act they are using, they will charge you under one of these sections in the act. Okay, so it's not only for our profitability, but it's also good to be safe side from the regulation or the law point of view. Okay, so these are very, very important. Or sometimes, if you have, for example, foreign workers, okay, foreign workers, they have, for example, visa under your company, but they don't have timesheet, they are not working. So why you bring them to the country if they are not working? So you are under, different now. You have a problem with immigration. You see? So all these things, and because those people you bring from overseas, you have contract, and the contract, and sometimes even determine how many hours they're going to work, daily, and how many hours. If the authority come and check this man hours with your contract, and they find something they are not telling, you are under trouble. The company will be under trouble. So this one, if you talk about the private company, maybe a public company is a different story. But in general, it has to be. Even though nowadays, even the public companies have to adhere to the rules and regulation. Okay, so all these things are very, very important for our, not only to be safe in terms of budget, to be safe in terms of the compliance, because you have a compliance department. So all these things they need to, to be Okay, so this I think is the hours for today. So tomorrow we're going to talk about this over and underestimation and how to allocate these costs. you know, what is the time budgeting we have, activity base or the ABP and APM. Okay, so this inshallah will be in our class tomorrow. So is there any things need to be discussed? Any questions? Any?
So far, okay.
So far, okay, everything
Yeah.
okay?